May I?
May you?
Okay. So I'm mainly going to talk about why it doesn't improve the women discrimination we have in the status quo. But before that, a few points of rebuttal. So the last case we get from OG is that women in the status quo don't succeed in university because they are afraid of studies and they're afraid they won't find any friends in the university because there are not enough women there. Whoa, I thought we were talking about a functional democracy, and not like we're talking about Iran. There are women in universities today, everywhere. They are majority in many subjects already in the status quo. I don't think any woman in this crowd is afraid to go to university and to study. I think it's a very paternalistic thing, like all their case. So no, they are women in university, they don't afraid and they go to study. But the problem, they wanted to say that they don't go specifically to STEM, they did to these subjects specifically. This is what they needed to say and they didn't do it. But we say yes, they are the majority in many other subjects, like law, like social services, like psychology. There are many good subjects that they are majority. Specifically in these ones they are not, and I'm going to explain why it is happening and why we should not subsidize to try to solve it. The second thing they say in the first speaker is that when we give subsidize, we do it when there is wasted potential we want to incentivize. So look, they are incentivizing the university, not the women. They give money to the university. So now the university has an interest to bring many women. What they're going to do when there are not enough women to come, they're going to publish it, advertise, they're going to load the rates, the same things that Hodaya told you. And what is going to happen? They're just women that don't fit are going to go to these subjects. They go because of the advertisements, they go because they try to convince them, not because they like it, not because it's the best, they are good at that, they're just because of this advertisement. All the incentive is going to university and not to these women. And we say that these women are, if they fit less to these subjects, they're just going to more likely fail in these subjects or be less good than the guys in the same class that had the same grades. And what Hodaya explained to you is the huge impact on all women. Because it's not, now when there are women and men, even if the women are the minority in these classes, they are equal in the level to the men. Now we bring women that we tell the men, look, there are women in your class that we got them here just because we incentivize the university to do so. So we already believe that all women are there by luck and not because they are good. Secondly, now the women are more likely to fail because we got much more women that don't fit in the first place. And then men can say, oh, you see, it just justify their prejudice. They say, yes, I see it again. They fail as I thought. Women are less than men. This is exactly what's going to happen. And then we have in the PI of CG that society oppress women society oppress women to the way to the top. But look, we incentivize the beginning, not the top. It's university. There are enough women in university, there are not enough women that are CEOs. If you want to incentivize something, please incentivize that. Let's move to my point. So we said it doesn't prove women discrimination. We said that the problem, as I just explained, is not with studies. There are enough women who study things in university. The problem we have with women today is the wages and being in top jobs. This is the problems we have. We want to make women with more salaries. But women just in the status quo don't go to STEM. Why? Just because they don't want to. Why they don't want to? Because maybe they just, I don't know if it's a cultural thing, maybe it's a social thing from the history, I don't know why, but women prefer to go to other subjects. We see they can do both things, but they just go to more to other subjects. Women that fit this subject and want to do it are already going in the status quo. So now we're going to get women that either don't want to do it in the first place, just do it because of the advertisement, or secondly, they just don't fit to that and came only because of that. And this is going to cause two main things. Before I continue, second house.
We think that STEM research is something which saves lives, advanced technology, and very respectful according like.
I agree. Therefore, we want high rate for people to get into these studies. If they are men, if they are women, we just don't care. We don't want to lower the rate and take less fit people. Thank you. Now, we have two things that are better for women now. In the moral thing, there is a comparative that, yes, I know that there are going to be more women studies STEM in their side. But as I explain now, there are women that just don't fit in the first place as much as the others and don't want it and don't have the same motivations. When you go to study something you are not motivated to and you are less good than the others in class, you just do it much worse. So, and therefore, they're not going to get more salaries like we see many of these subjects because they are less good. They are still going to be inferior to other people that are better than them in these subjects. They are still going to succeed less, and it's going to just make the prejudice even harder. And therefore, I talked about this circle of discrimination and just justifying the prejudice, and therefore they're just going to get still low salaries in that market. It just won't prove their life in that. But let's look a little bit more about the economical influence, because we say that this subsidize is going to the universities. Who is going to earn for that? It's country's money that is going to universities. Nowadays, where there is much more men than women is in the professional in the universities, because it's the top ranks. Then we have much more professors that are men than are women. So mostly the ones who are going to earn from this thing is the men in the universities. The women didn't get a shekel, they didn't get anything from that. So the gap between men and women economically is just going to be the same. What is the alternative that we can do to actually make wages higher and the ranks higher? We can spend money where women currently are in public jobs that there are more women than men right now, such as education, such as social service, such as psychology or things like that. We can give internships to women that incentivize them to go to studies if they don't go to studies, like women from minorities groups or things like that. We can spend the same money in a much more effective way directly to women and not just to fund men that controlling the universities already and are not just going to bring more women that are not fit and don't want to do it. So what we proved in that debate, we proved that it's going to just make women much more interior to men's mind. It's going to hurt their feeling of respect, because they'll believe they got to these studies just because they are women. And we proved that it's not going even to improve their salaries and their economical status. And therefore, for all these reasons, please oppose.